good to be here and talk to you all on the Bottom Line Live. We are going to talk about bookkeeping as we do on the Bottom Line Live every Thursday. And I'm going to share this real quick. Let's see here. We're going to talk about taxes today. We talked about it last week. I still have not figured out how to share my screen. I have to figure out Zoom. I think I maybe have to upgrade my Zoom or something. But in the meantime, I'm going to come to you live from here. And I'm going to share. I'm going to share to the Wealth Dynamics group so that everyone can see what I'm talking about. Good, so we started talking about this last week, and we're going to talk about it more today. We talked about the reports. I know you guys want to see those live, which I will do. And I have gone over them, but I'm going to go over them a little bit more so you kind of get the gist of it. The profit and loss and the balance sheet. So what is the difference between those two reports? And which one is the main one that your CPA is going to want to see? So your CPA is going to want to see your profit and loss mainly. They will want to see a balance sheet as well, but like I said, mainly the profit and loss. The profit and loss is very simple. It basically, at the top, it's got all of your income, however you sort it. So you might have different income coming from different places, and then you're going to show, your cost of goods, and then after that, it's going to show what your expenses are. All of your expenses in the bottom. It will have your profit or your loss, and that's why it's called that. So it might be a negative number at the end if you spent more money than you made, but most likely, hopefully, it's profit, and that's what you're going to see, because that's what you're paying taxes on, is your actual profit. You're not paying taxes on all of your income. So that's something that's really important to know. So that's why things are deductions, right? If you spend money on business deductions, then you have less taxable income. Your taxable income is only what's left at the end. It's going to be your actual profit. If you have a loss, then you're most likely not going to owe any taxes at all unless they're on other subjects. So that's kind of what to know about that. Okay. Other things that you definitely want to give to your CPA, and again, I need to do this again when I can share my screen because this is not going the way that I wanted it to go. Yeah, I have a pro account, but it's not doing what I want it to do. Okay, so other things to know, like on the personal side, obviously you might have things like if you own a property, you're going to want to see all this, the mortgage statements, anything that you've put in to fix up the property. If you have donated money, then you need all of your donation statements for the year, which all charities that are legal charities will send you a donation statement at the end of the year. So you need those. If you own a business, which obviously is mostly what we're talking about, you're going to need your payroll and all your payroll numbers. It's going to all be in your profit and loss, but you're going to want to see your payroll statement so that you have everything that you need. If you have any business assets, for instance, let's say your company buys Mint Builder or bullion from Mint Builder. Let's say your company buys property. Let's say your company buys equipment. All those are assets, so you need all that information. It also goes on your balance sheet, but you definitely need like the statements. And then let's say you have loans. So let's say you purchase a vehicle and you have a loan on the vehicle. Let's say you purchased equipment, but you have a loan on the equipment. Let's say you purchased property, but you have a mortgage on the property. You need all the mortgage statements. You need all the loan statements. So these are all things, I'm sure most of you have probably finished your taxes at this point, but these are all things that your CPA is going to want. Now, I'm definitely open if any of you have any questions about different things like that. I know I need to share, and I can show you guys the different tax forms, and I can show you the profit and loss and the balance sheet. So I'll try to figure that out. I apologize. But if anybody has any questions, let me know. I know Jerry and Nano usually have great questions, so feel free to pipe up and ask me good questions. All right. What other things do you have that you need to give your CPA? Those are the main things, and of course, if I can't show you, this isn't as exciting, but why don't we talk about one of these things a little more in depth? So let's talk about payroll. Most of you are already doing payroll, for the year. If you're not doing payroll, you definitely need to get that set up. If you are an S corporation and you didn't run a payroll for 2021, you have to do a manual payroll now. Check with your CPA. They might say for your specific tax situation you don't need to, but a lot of you do need to, and if you haven't done it, you're going to want to do a manual payroll, and you're going to want to get set up on payroll for 2022 right away. If you are a business owner and you have an S corporation, you have to be on payroll. So what does that mean? That doesn't mean that you transfer money to yourself once a week or once a month. That means that you actually have to run a payroll, pay the payroll taxes. So usually you're going to want to use a payroll tax service. You're going to want to use QuickBooks Payroll or Gusto or Patriot Payroll or ADP. You're not going to want to use Paychex, unfortunately, because they have a very, very old operating system, and even though the people that work there are super nice, it makes your life more difficult for bookkeeping. So don't use that one, but almost any other one you can use, and if they upgrade their system and software, then you can use them as well. But there are actual payroll taxes. Now, the other thing to know about this is that the payroll taxes are different in every single state. So if you are like me hiring remote employees, you have to register with that state and you have to get them set up correctly with that state. It isn't going to be your home state. I'm in Florida. I have employees in Texas. I have employees in Colorado. I have employees in New Jersey. I have employees in Nevada. So each state that I have employees in, I have to report taxes to, and I have to withhold taxes. So I have to register in each of those states. And that's something that can be a pain in the butt. But it doesn't have to be. So if you want to go through and register yourself, you can. If you haven't done that, definitely reach out to me, reach out to your bookkeeper, reach out to your CPA, get registered. If you're working with TaxHive, they don't do payroll, so definitely reach out to us so we can get that set up for you, because you do have to be on payroll as an S Corp. And I do run into this, that some business owners say, yeah, I'm on payroll, I transferred myself money throughout the year. But that is not payroll. You can't even, and some of them even put it on their profit and loss, like on QuickBooks, they call it a wages and salary. But it's not payroll unless you're paying the payroll taxes and you get a W-2, so to do that, you have to actually run it through a payroll service. You can do it manually, but that's even more of a pain in the butt. So I don't recommend that at all. So keep that in mind. Okay, what else is there to know? I should probably stop saying every 2 seconds. I'm going to work on that, guys. I got this. What else is there to know about payroll? I would say mainly keep in mind that each state has different rules for hiring in general. For instance, if you hire someone, there's many states that have specific laws such as sick time. Hi Marie, thanks so much for joining. Such as sick pay, holiday pay, vacation pay. What are the different rules, right? So for instance, if you hire someone in California, there's mandatory sick pay. I believe it's up to 6 days a year. Don't quote me. They change laws. I haven't looked at it in a minute. Colorado, similarly, they have sick pay up to, I think, 4 days a year. I have a database where I look all this stuff up. So if I say the wrong amount of days, I will look it up. Florida does not have that, for instance. Texas does not have that. New Jersey does. So every time I hire a new employee, or every time a client of ours hires a new employee, we have to go look up the payroll laws in that state, and they're all different. And not only are they all different, they change all the time. So if you are a remote company and you're hiring employees in all different states, you definitely 100% want to either get help or get a really good, pay for HR software so you can get access to all of that, because that's a legal point and you have to pay them. You have to pay them that sick pay. You have to pay them, whatever is mandatory in that state. Not what's mandatory in the state that you're in, what's mandatory in the state that they are. Great. Nice to meet you, Jamal. He's a bookkeeper from Bangladesh. Good. I'm trying not to say so I'm going to stop saying it. All right. What else is there that you should know about payroll? Something that you can go into in detail is whether someone should be on payroll as a W-2 employee or whether they should be a 1099 contractor. Now, in certain states, this has gotten really strict, such as California. They will look at it very closely. What is the purpose of the person's job that you hired them for? Do you own a window washing company and you're hiring a window washer and you want to hire them as a contractor? That's not going to work, because that's the purpose of your company. Your company does window washing. So you can't hire just contractors. They need to be employees, right? Do you own a window washing company and you are hiring someone to do marketing for you who also has a lot of other marketing clients and they have their own marketing company? That would be a contractor, right? So these are some of the things that you have to get clear on payroll, and you have to get them right so that you get the correct deductions for your taxes, because you want your taxes to be right. So what else is there to that? When at the end of the year, the 1099s, we've talked about 1099s before. I'm going to talk about it again. If you haven't filed them yet, you can still do it now. But if you have people that you paid as a contractor, and I also don't just mean someone that you said, oh, this is a subcontractor for me. That marketing company you hired, the cleaning company you hired, the gardening company you hired for your property, for your business property, those would all be contractors. Anybody who delivers a service for you. What's not a 1099 contractor would be anyone who's an employee who you're paying W-2, anyone who you're purchasing a product from, such as supplies for your company. If you're a window washing company and you're buying window washing liquid, they do not have to give them a 1099. They are not a contractor. They are a supplier. If you go to Starbucks, they are not a service company. You are buying products from them. You're buying a drinks, right? Let's say you buy drinks for all of your employees, and I'm talking about coffee here, guys. That is not something that you would ever 1099. Let's say you're buying insurance, health insurance for your companies. That's a product that you're purchasing. That is not a service. You are paying for insurance. That's not something you would 1099. Also, you wouldn't 1099 anyone who's a contractor. Anyone who's a corporation, except for medical field and lawyers. So if you, let's say you own a construction company and you take one of your employees to the chiropractor because they strained their back while they were lifting something up. So you paid the chiropractor from your business account. That's now a business deduction, and you have to 1099 that doctor because you made it a business expense. All medical fields that you pay for something out of your business account that you're calling a business expense or a business deduction, they get 1099. Same with lawyers. Regardless of whether they're corporations or not, you would 1099 them. Just like I was saying in the medical field, even if you took them to Kaiser Hospital, you would still technically need to 1099 them. So you need to ask Kaiser Hospital for a W-9, even though they're a corporation, even though they might not know what you're talking about. The receptionist might not know what you're talking about. Most people aren't having their business pay for expenses. But if your business pays for medical expenses for you or your employees, that would be a 1099. So keep that in mind. Same with lawyers. Doesn't matter if they're a corporation, they get a 1099 at the end of the year. And if you haven't done those yet, do them now. If you haven't done the payroll yet, if you filed an extension, do it now because you need it for your taxes. Now, your taxes are going to be filed. You probably already have an extension. Your personal taxes are due in, just about 10 days now. So if you haven't done those, run, find someone, get an extension filed. Very unlikely you're going to be able to get them filed at this point on time, so get an extension filed. One more thing to know, if you file an extension for your taxes, whether it's on your business side or your personal side, the taxes are due. So your CPA will have to estimate how much you owe, and the taxes are due on the due date. They're not due with the extension. So if you're trying to save money and that's why you're not filing your taxes on time, you're filing an extension, that's not going to work. You actually have to pay whatever taxes are due on the tax due date. The business taxes, that was March 15th, that's when those were owed. The personal taxes on April 15th, which is, April, I believe, 17 this year because of the weekend, that's when the taxes are due. The reason the extension exists is to keep working out make sure you have all your details, make sure you have all the numbers, make sure the CPA has time to do it. And if the amount that you paid was an estimate that was slightly off, you can pay the rest to avoid any to avoid any tax fees, penalties, all of those things, interest if they want to charge. So you definitely have to make sure you make that payment and you're not trying to file an extension just to not pay it, because that's not the purpose of it. So keep that in mind. Good. So if there's anybody else that has any questions on what your CPA might need from you until I can get a screen share and show you guys the actual reports, please let me know. You can reach me here on Facebook. You can write a comment. You can send me a message. You can email me at maya@solvencynow.com. You can do my website, which is solvencynow.com. And regardless of what size your business is, I can help you. I do consultations for people all the time. I help any size companies, whether they're really large and they just want another set of eyes, or they're really small and they just need to get help set up on QuickBooks. I am here for you. If you need a CPA recommendation, based on your size of your company, I can help you. So just reach out. And I'm probably going to cut this short today because I really wanted to screen share and show you all this stuff, and I didn't set that up. So we'll do that next week. But it was really good to see everyone. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll put my email in the comments. And I'll see you guys next week on the Bottom Line Live, 7 p.m. every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.